think Carol must have called me right after, President Carolina must have called me right after she called Carol, because she left a message for me Sunday. I didn't get a chance to talk to her until Monday, and she sounded sort of desperate. I could identify with that, because why else would she have called me? She was not desperate. So she said, well, I said, well, what do you want me to do? She said, well, it really doesn't matter. She said, if you want to, you can just get up and tell jokes for 2 or 3 minutes. Oh, that was my second line of work there, so that was no problem. I can handle that. Anyway, I'm not going to tell jokes for 2 or 3 minutes, but I have one that I would just like to share with you. Young man, 72 years old, went down to the new car dealership and bought him a convertible Corvette. And he went out and decided to see if he was going to see how fast it would run. He stepped down on it and it just took off. You know, they got about 160 on the speedometer thing. And he looked up, right behind was the highway patrol. Turned the lights on, stopped him, and looked up, 72 years old, went down to the car dealership and bought him a convertible Corvette. And he went out and decided to see if he was going to see how fast it would run. He stepped down on it and it just took off. You know, they got about 160 on the speedometer thing. He looked up, right behind was the highway patrol. Turned the lights on, stopped him, came up to the car, and told him, says, I get all my shift ends in 15 minutes. If you tell me something that I hadn't heard before, I will let you go. He said, 20 years ago, my wife ran off with a highway patrolman, and I thought that was him trying to bring her back. Reminiscing on the serious note, back when we was getting ready to join the board, I was working for a company, for the late Edward Davis and Company at that time. Matter of fact, I was the one that arranged the meeting with the Paul Boyer was the president, and Ruth Ann Morrison was his secretary, and Margaret Burroughs, whom I see around occasionally now, was around then. It was a old building that had been a pancake house down on Walnut Road, close to Tillman. Yeah, that's right, close to Tillman. And I think when it comes to African American companies, we were about the 3rd company that got in. I think W.D. Atkins, John first, and Mr. Wesley over at Wesley and Associates, or Supreme, and Edward Davis and Company applied the same day. All of Ed's agents passed the test, but he didn't pass. So next time around, he got a chance to join the board. So I think we made it in about the 3rd company. And I would just like to pay homage to those people that have gone on before us, that have paved the way, and to those of you who are now traveling this road, you do have an obligation to leave something behind and make a way and some knowledge and sharing with the younger people that's coming on. I too believe in education and training. I notice now that MAAR has a lot of free courses. A lot of stuff that sponsors pay for that you can go in and just take different courses. I remember when, back when I was a little bit younger, when Tom Hopkins and Brian Tracy and some of those people came to town, we paid like $120, $130 each to see them. I paid $225, I think, to see Dr. Brian Tracy. You know, he was a Nightingale cornet artist, so we had to pay for that. I would encourage, and now they even have it fixed where you can take courses online. CRS courses, CRB and GRIs and everything else now that you can take online just as you can at the major institutions. And I suggest that you don't just get your license and take the code of ethics, which is required every 4 years. Take some other stuff along the way. I remember Harold Sterling said once when he was with the Tennessee Real Estate Commission, the people that have been in the business the longest, the one that he has the most problems with, because they never wanted to go back to school to get into additional training. So remember to do that. And just before I go to my seat, speaking of CRS from the one that came from the Residential Sales Council is CRS is a residential specialist. That's the one that came from the Residential Sales Council. That mean that, you know, we always like to flaunt our designations that we specialize in selling residence. And then I thought of something else. You know, when you start walking out the house talking on your phone and you feel your pocket to see where your phone is, and you say, well, I don't want to leave my phone. And then it comes to you that you're talking on it. When you go in the other room to get something, and you forgot what you went for, and you have to turn around and go back in the room where you came from, and hope that it comes back to you, so that then you can go back and get what you originally went to get. And so those of us, baby boomers, that was born in the early and mid-40s, most of us has the second CRS. And that is, can't remember S. On a serious note, on behalf of the Realtor Emeritus class of 2012, we accept this honor that has been bestowed upon us with all the rights and privileges that goes along with it and the spirit that they were given in. Thank you very much.